Money sign will not be back.
We're starting over once again. This is where it all begins. It's right in front of me. Down is not where I belong. This aching heart won't turn to stone. There's a fire inside these bones. It was meant to be.
Teams that share the shore of Lake Erie again share that very familiar word, hope. They hope that this is the year that they reward their loyal fans with a long-awaited playoff berth. Week 2 of the preseason, the Bills and the Browns set to go here from Cleveland. Hi, everyone. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters will join us in just a moment. John's a lot of optimism in Buffalo. Rex Ryan was with the Jets for 6 years. They've sold 60,000 tickets for his return to the Eastern Division and come with the Buffalo Bills. They also signed some free agents. Their defense is good, but they still don't have a quarterback, John. And tonight we're going to see Tyrod Taylor try to win the job. He backed up Joe Flacco for 4 years in Baltimore. And tonight may be his best shot ever to be an NFL starting quarterback.
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise. A lot of people thought they'd go with E.J. Manuel, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago. I thought they'd stick with Matt Castle, who they traded for in the offseason. But it's going to be Tyrod Taylor. And he is a bit of an unknown. The last time we saw Taylor was in the Orange Bowl when he was at Virginia Tech. And they are really depleted, Mike, at the skill positions. They're missing their top 5 tailbacks. They're missing their top 3 receivers, and this Cleveland Brown defense is really good. If Tyrod Taylor plays well under these circumstances, he should be the opening day quarterback for Buffalo.
Well, the man who made that choice is Rex Ryan. He's standing by with Lisa.
Thank you, Mike. Well, Rex, tonight at quarterback, it's all about Tyrod Taylor and E.J. Manuel. You said you really need to see what these guys can do. Tyrod gets the start. What's the magic that you say you're looking to see from him?
Well, I think if we can move this, offense tonight against, a pretty good defense and, obviously missing some of the pieces that we're missing, our top 3 receivers, 5 running backs, whatever, but find a way to keep, to move it and score. I think that'll speak volumes about this young man.
Well, like you said, without them having those weapons, what impact is that going to have on really how you are able to evaluate them?
Well, I mean, it's probably not going to be the fairest evaluation, but again, I'm looking for if he can put a little magic in there, then that'll speak for itself.
Thank you. Good luck this season.
All right, thank you.
Mike?
Rex could have been in TV. He said exactly what you said. All right, Cleveland, they're still looking for a quarterback. We did a preseason game this time last year. Brian Hoyer beat out Johnny Manziel. Manziel's still here as the number 2, but Josh McCown is the starter for the Browns.
Cleveland really confuses me, Mike. Josh McCown will be the 23rd different starting quarterback for the Browns since 1999. They're on their 6th different offensive coordinator in the last 6 years. They just can't commit themselves to an offensive system or a quarterback. They've even changed their uniforms this year. It's going to come down to McCown. He's 36 years old. This is his 9th NFL team. Cleveland desperately needs quality quarterback play from McCown, because if they don't get it, you're going to hear the clamoring for Johnny Manziel, who quietly's put together a pretty good training camp.
Yeah, we'll see him on the field in the 2nd and 3rd quarter. Preseason game 2 for Cleveland and Buffalo. Beautiful night in Northeast Ohio, and we'll have it for you coming up next.
ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Beautiful sunset over Lake Erie on this Thursday night. Hometown coach is Mike Pettin, year 2. Got off to the good start last year, 7-9. Familiar to Buffalo fans as he was the Bills' defensive coordinator for 1 year, a couple of seasons ago, and familiar, of course, to Rex Ryan from their time together with the Jets, and before that, both defensive assistants in Baltimore. His defense will be on the field first, so we'll wait a little bit before we see Josh McCown and the Cleveland offense. Buffalo gets it to start. There are a couple of kickers in the Browns camp. Cary Spear is one of them, and he'll kick to Marcus Thigpen. Both teams with close losses preseason game 1. Preseason game 2 begins with a return by Thigpen, who is hit and stopped right at the 15-yard line. Tank Carter for Cleveland made the stop. So here's Tyrod Taylor. As we said, 4 years backing up Joe Flacco, 3 good offensive coordinators during his time in Baltimore. So he got familiar with NFL offenses as he made the transition. At Virginia Tech, coming from that same general area where Michael Vick grew up. He followed in Vick's footsteps and really played very well as a Hokie in his 4 years in Blacksburg. For some reason, the ball got moved to the 20-yard line. So we'll get it back to him. Tackle was made to 15 and start anew. As both John and Rex Ryan said, the top 5 running backs for the Bills are out with injury. We finally got this settled. So Bronson Hill, of the 3 running backs dressed, he's been a Bill the longest. He signed 2 weeks ago. And the running back from Eastern Michigan runs to the right. He gains 3 yards. Carlos Dansby, a veteran, on the tackle. John, there are good names in this Buffalo running back core that's injured. LaShawn McCoy came over from Philadelphia. Fred Jackson, Boobie Dixon, Bryce Brown, who was also a former Eagle, and the rookie out of Florida State, Carlos Williams.
Hard to believe all 5 are out in the second preseason game. You have to be careful throwing the football. These backs not real familiar with the pass protection.
Taylor back to pass and will swing it out to Bronson Hill. He got past the line of scrimmage. He gains a couple to the 20-yard line. So what are we watching for here with Tyrod Taylor?
Well, we know Tyrod Taylor was an option quarterback at Virginia Tech. He did a lot of things with his legs. He threw the ball well on the move. Didn't see him throw the ball much at all in the last 3 years. And that's where I think you need to see progress because no one's seen him do much. He's been a Wildcat quarterback for the Ravens. You've seen some periodic preseason work, but he needs to show well tonight throwing it.
Hill stepped out of bounds at the 18, so this is 3rd and 7. And Taylor hangs in there, throws it on time and complete for the first down. It's Deontay Thompson with the reception as Percy Harvin, Sammy Watkins, and Robert Woods are not dressed for Buffalo tonight.
Good pass protection. He has plenty of time to survey the field. He throws a beautiful outside breaking route. Cleveland is decimated in the secondary, Mike. Much like Buffalo is at the receiver position, you're seeing a lot of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th corners for these Cleveland Browns.
That was Johnson Betamosi, who played corner there at the start for the Browns. That's the guy who's led them in special teams tackles each of the last 3 years. For the 31, here's Taylor on the boot and throwing it complete to Jerome Felton, fullback with good NFL experience, once a Pro Bowler with the Vikings, and Felton takes it for a first down.
Greg Roman, the new offensive coordinator, comes over from the San Francisco 49ers with as diverse a running game as you will find. You'll see 2-back sets, single-back sets, quarterback-driven option plays. Here's Cyrus Kwanjo, number 71, reporting as a tight end. You're going to see every personnel grouping, formation, and shift known to man with Greg Roman.
Look at all those big bodies to the right. And the pulling guard leads the way for Ricky Seal, rookie running back from Stanford, who was just signed a couple of days ago by the Bills. And Seal carries to the 47-yard line.
But Greg Roman, you can't deny the success that he had in San Francisco as the offensive coordinator. Now, 1,600 yards in the last 3 years on the ground came from Colin Kaepernick, Mike.
Right.
And I expect Tyrod Taylor to run similar plays, option plays that Kaepernick ran in San Francisco.
It was a nice gain by Ricky Seal, so now 2nd and 4. Good penetration by the Browns defense, and Seal's erased that time. Randy Starks, who came over to make this Cleveland defense a bit more stout in the run game.
Well, Cleveland was 32nd in the NFL in run defense last year. They went out and got Randy Starks, a 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle from the Miami Dolphins, and that's what he is, Mike. He is a professional run stuffer. And these are the 3rd down situations that Mike Pettin loves to see his Cleveland Brown defense in.
This is 3rd and 8, and the Browns show pressure, and they bring 5. Pass is complete. Crossing for the first down. It's Charles Clay. So a couple of the big names added by the Bills in the offseason to the offense. LaShawn McCoy, the running back, and Clay, the tight end, who played his first 4 years with Miami.
And the biggest name just might be Tyrod Taylor. I like the start for the young quarterback, working with a lot of backup skill players against the starters of this Cleveland Brown defense.
See, Taylor is open, completing his first 4 passes. Had a little sizzle in the Bills' preseason opener in Orchard Park. Here on the move and taking off and shown to the sideline by Paul Kruger, the outside linebacker, but a gain of a couple. So Tyrod Taylor, we talked about what he did in his skill set at Virginia Tech. We were calling this Orange Bowl game, made one of the plays of the year early in January, this spin at the sideline and then the ability to keep the eyes down and fire into the end zone. 34-8 as a starter. Great respect of his teammates. Then in Baltimore, he's used as a bit of a gadget. Kept Joe Flacco on the field. He's had one significant game where he played at the end of the season. Insignificant game for the playoff purposes. That's where most of his 35 NFL passing attempts have come. This is Ricky Seal running to the 40, gain of 3 yards on that carry.
You know, in this Greg Roman offense, there's a lot of check with me's for the quarterback in the running game. They'll call a weak side run and kill it with a strong side run, and then they'll give Tyrod the option to check to a third play. Taylor told us there are certain packages that have 4 different running plays together, and he's got to preview these plays in the huddle. Roman asks a lot from the quarterback, directing flow in this Buffalo Bill running game.
This is 3rd and 4. And Taylor has time as a throwing lane and gets the first down to the 35-yard line. Nice throw and catch by Taylor as Marquise Goodwin keeps this drive along.
And that's Tramon Williams in coverage, Mike. The ex-Green Bay Packer came over to replace Buster Skrine at left corner, and it's just a simple hitch route. You see Marquise Goodwin, track star in the offseason, convert for the first down.
Marquise, an outstanding long jumper. This a carry for Seal for just 1 yard. This is a good show, John, to see this Buffalo offensive line and Cleveland defensive line. Although the running back position's decimated, the Buffalo offense, they think their line is good. It's a great test going against a Cleveland defensive line that, even though they were last in the league in rushing last year, their additions plus being healthy, this is a formidable unit up front.
All 5 starters return, led by left tackle Cordy Glenn, center Eric Wood. They got a new line coach. A lot of things changing in Buffalo.
2nd and 8. Taylor saw nothing develop, takes off, and they'll get the first down. Past the 25 and down to the 23-yard line. So doing nice things out of the pocket is Taylor.
Well, that's a great play by Taylor. That's a screen pass. Cleveland read it. There's nowhere to go with the football, and Taylor takes off. They want to throw a screen to the back, but you're going to see the Cleveland Browns read it. They cover the screening back, so Tyrod Taylor says, you know what, I'll just run it myself for the first down, and those plays add up. Great to have a quarterback that can hurt you with his arm and his legs.
After the 10-yard run, it's the give to Bronson Hill, and he gains a couple of yards. Craig Robertson in on the tackle for Cleveland. We mentioned Cleveland's without a couple of their big names. The biggest name of that bunch is Joe Hayden, their outstanding Pro Bowl corner, has a hamstring injury. We saw Joe in the hotel. That hamstring's probably going to be good enough for a couple of quarters in preseason game 3, and then we'll see Joe come opening day.
Hayden's become the leader of this Cleveland Brown defense, and important that they register some kind of pass rush and create a stop.
This is play 14 of the opening drive for the Bills. A good blocking as Hill picks his way inside the 20 to the 19. Dante Whitner, the safety, comes up to make the tackle. It's year 2 for the veteran Whitner, who played for the Bills and comes back to his hometown Cleveland at the back end of his career.
What a secondary Cleveland has, Mike. You brought up Joe Hayden. Whitner was in the Pro Bowl. Deshaun Gibson, their free safety, another Pro Bowl Cleveland Browns secondary player. Formidable unit when they're all healthy. 3rd and 5.
Taylor 3 on third down already. In trouble here, and he'll go down as Paul Kruger comes in for the sack to take it back to the 28-yard line, and a field goal attempt in all likelihood.
Well, that's a terrible sack by Tyrod Taylor. You're going to see the blitz coming off the left side. It's picked up for a second, but Tyrod Taylor cannot take a sack in this field position and make this a 47-yard field goal. Throw the ball away, keep yourself in manageable field goal position, but here's a guy, Carpenter, Mike, who's pretty automatic here in the last 2 years.
Yeah, Dan Carpenter was on the non-football injury list, so didn't kick in week 1. Seeing his first action of the season from 46 off the upright, no good. We talk about giving up sack yardage. That's a good example of it. That drifted to the right. Long drive, 9.5 minutes, no points. Corner of your screen, you see Progressive Field, Quicken Loans Arena, and down here, First Energy Stadium, home of the Browns. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Baseball, the basketball, the football venues, all tucked into downtown Cleveland along the lakefront on this very pleasant August night with the temperature set to drop through the 60s at the end of the night. Josh McCown, 36 years old, is the Browns quarterback. Gary Barnidge, his tight end, gets it and a gain of a couple of yards. One drive, and it was a good touchdown drive for McCown in preseason game 1. So Johnny's been all over. We'll detail his route around the league later on, but was really successful with the Bears for the injured Jay Cutler 2 years ago. Signed with Tampa, 1-10 in his 11 starts last year with the Bucks, and now here he is in Cleveland. Terrence West carries across the 40 to the 41-yard line. So what do you get here with McCown as your quarterback?
Well, I don't think he's here to just be the mentor for Johnny Manziel. They think he's got some skill, and they think if they can give him some good circumstances around him, pass protection, a little bit of a running game, and if some of these receivers can come through, they think McCown can be a winning quarterback for this franchise.
Love the left side of their line, anchored by the Pro Bowler Joe Thomas at tackle. This is 3rd and 5. The Bills bring 5. McCown hit as he throws. Pass is incomplete, but a flag is down as Brian Hartline, the receiver, was interfered with. Nigel Bradham right there brought the pressure, but a flag downfield. And we'll hear from Clete Blakeman for the first time.
That's interference. Deep. Place at the
Preseason for the microphone, it's the rookie, second-round pick Ronald Darby.
Well, Rex Ryan had Darby play a lot of man coverage last week against Carolina. He wants to see him play man coverage this week. Clearly, he hooked the receiver. First down, Cleveland.
single.
Alex Mack, the center, who was out for a good part of last year, directing the front as well. And some good shifty cuts by Terrence West to the 43-yard line. Marcel Darius tackling him for the Bills. So 2 rookie backs last year, Terrence West and Isaiah Crowell. And they want to see one of them jump up and grab this spot, John. You saw what West did last year.
Well, in this West Coast offense, you've got to do more than run the football. They've got to get involved in the passing game. West just failed on a blitz pickup. He's got to catch it, pass protect, and run the football in this system.
In Buffalo territory at the 43, McCown, pass rush closing in on him as the flag comes down. Jerry Hughes gets him for a sack, depending on what the marker is for.
That's a formidable pass rush, Mike. All 3 of them.
So it's a hold on the Browns, which has declined, and the Bills will take the sack yardage. 3rd down. You're right, John, with Jerry Hughes, Marcel Darius, the former #1 overall pick Mario Williams, and other guys who can come in and rush the passer as well. We didn't even mention that man, Kyle Williams.
No, it is 54 sacks. They led the NFL. They had 57 the year before, and now Rex Ryan's in town to add some of those creative blitzes. It'll be fun to watch this year, this Bills defense.
It's 3rd and 15. He's got double teamed and knocked down, buying McCown some time. On the run, look out, big hit on Barnidge, and it's intercepted. Deflecting in the air, and Darby, the rookie, gets it in his hands. They have a penalty marker down back where that contact occurred that led to the interception. Travis Benjamin made the tackle. Let's see what the flag is. But McCown, with his first team offensive line in front of him, flushed a couple of times in drop back pass situations.
Well, McCown ran for his life last year in Tampa. No one got hit like McCown got hit per pass attempt. And when you're scrambling against this Buffalo defense with Hughes and Mario Williams in pursuit, not a lot of good things have been happening against this Bills defense.
Let's sort this out. It's the contact that happened with Barnidge. And I think they have to determine what possession was here. Some lip reader's joy here with his mic out. It says 15 yards on the spot of the foul post possession. So it is Bills ball on first down. The personal foul for the hit on the intended receiver, Barnidge. Let's watch it.
They're going to say Barnidge was defenseless.
Aaron Williams coming over and getting him helmet to helmet with the contact.
It wasn't a post-possession hit, so I don't agree with that call, but let's hope Barnidge is okay. And here's Tyrod Taylor in the Bills offense.
So on the turnover, it belongs to Buffalo, and as we said,
Hey, Mike 53. Hey.
Tyrod Taylor will play a good part of this first half. Good opening drive, but the missed field goal. Taylor being chased, gets away, and will just bench it. Throw it out of bounds, incomplete.
And I really like this Cleveland defense. Statistically against the run, they're criticized for being 32nd in the league, Mike, but they were on the field 70 plays a game last year. The Browns offense could not stay on the field. They put this Brown defense out there way too much, but they've added Danny Shelton, number 71. He's their first-round draft choice. They brought in Starks. They've tried to fortify the front seven to stop the run, and let's see how they do in this series.
From the 24, Bronson Hill cuts it back. He'll gain 4 to the 28-yard line. John, I think you bring up an interesting point there with Shelton, who they draft to put him on the nose, because if they can clean up that run defense, given the good players in the secondary, it's a very different-looking Cleveland team.
It certainly is. This Cleveland defense was the #1 pass defense in the league. 3 Pro Bowlers back there. Can they get a better pass rush? Who's it going to be besides Paul Kruger? Kruger had double-digit sacks a year ago, but they haven't found that other rusher yet. Let's see if Scott Solomon at the top of the screen can deliver.
3rd and 6, the pressure comes. Taylor steps up and throws on time, on target. Complete for the first down to Deontay Thompson. A very nice throw and catch there on 3rd down.
It's a nice job by Taylor in the pocket, pushing forward, letting the route develop. The blitz is on. Good pickup. And Tyrod throws a strike. And Deontay Thompson beat Tremont Williams, the ex-Green Bay Packer, to the outside. And Thompson had a big touchdown last week against Carolina. He's making a case for making this Bills team.
22 yards on that pickup. Another 3rd down conversion for Taylor. And at midfield, they'll hand it and they'll lose 9 yards. No place for Marquise Goodwin to run, and Goodwin's shaken up. As Phil Kruger brought him down, Goodwin went down awkwardly with that leg pinned. And this Buffalo team, already with a ton of injuries, sees Goodwin go down. That ankle got trapped underneath Paul Kruger, pulled him down on the loss of 9 yards on that first down. So it's 2nd and 19. And Tyrod Taylor delivers complete to Chris Hogan, who cuts underneath. And Hogan is slow to get up. This is just the most brutal thing you've ever seen for these Buffalo Bills. I mentioned 5 running backs out with injury. 3 wide receivers in Sammy Watkins, Percy Harvin, and Marcus Easley. Goodwin hurt, now Hogan being looked at. Or they just helped Chris Hogan off the field. Lisa Salters has other injury updates here in this first quarter.
Yeah, Mike, 2 Cleveland Browns are back in the back being evaluated now for concussion symptoms. We saw the tight end, Gary Barnage. We saw the hit that he took. He went back to the locker room about 10 minutes ago. But before that play even happened, safety Jordan Poyer, he went back to the locker room. We're told also being evaluated for concussion.
Okay, Lisa, thank you. That pass incomplete, intended for Deontay Thompson. The coverage from Tremont Williams. So the Bills medical staff very busy. They're doing 2 injury observations that are important for Buffalo. One with Goodwin and the other one with Chris Hogan. John, those 2 guys were battling really for a position, many people thought. And Hogan was a key 3rd receiver for this Buffalo team last year. He was hurt of that prior play.
You aren't kidding. Hogan caught over 40 passes, 4 touchdowns last year, and really came alive as the slot receiver. That's a big one if he's hurt.
Colton Schmidt is the punter for Buffalo. And there's a bit of a mistake, catching it inside the 5. As Travis Benjamin caught it at the 2, but he tries to make up for it and returns it to the 19-yard line. The penalty markers down in the middle of the field. A 53-yard kick. Return 17, depending on the flag. Cleve Blakeman, one of the top officials in the league
During
last year.
return, holding on the return team. Penalties half the distance to the goal line from the end of the run. First down.
We know he graded out as such because he worked one of the playoff games. He worked the wild card game last year. So the Browns will be backed up near their own 10 when we come back to Cleveland to recognize the 1 million middle and high school athletes nationwide who have registered for Heads Up Football. About 250,000 young boys and girls play NFL flag football. NFL all 32 clubs celebrating youth football played across the country, including those good-looking youngsters here before the game with the Browns and Bills in Cleveland tonight. Josh McCown taking over from his own 9. And on the run up the middle, here goes Terrence West. Gain of 11, just over the 20. Injury update in the other game going on tonight. Back to Susie Culver.
Yeah, Mike, we're watching Robert Griffin III, who was under pressure all night, sacked 2 times. And on this one, he fumbles, and as Robert tries to recover it, you can see a player roll up on him. Down for more than 3 minutes. He walked off slowly to the locker room. He's being evaluated for a head injury and a right side stinger.
Okay, Susie, so we'll keep updated with you folks back in the studio on that. Detroit visiting Washington here. Preseason week 2 underway, and way too many injuries to talk about all across the board. As West is taken to the sideline. Preston Brown, Nigel Bradham doing that for Buffalo there, and that'll bring the quarter to an end. Well, Buffalo moved it, but the bad news is the injured skill position Bills have a couple more injuries to their receiving corps. No score after 1 in Cleveland. View from inside the pylon. You can see a guy break the plane there as the opening kickoff was returned by Marcus Thigpen. How about this pass down the sideline to Charles Clay? As he inbounds, as he break the plane? That's the view from inside the pylon. So little small cameras inside the pylon there, and that's really neat technology. A lot of our great technology folks at ESPN have been working on that and give you unique and special looks never seen before. Very impressive. I know you were excited by the technology.
I get one of those for my backyard.
They showed you earlier. Second quarter begins with a toss to Terrence West for a yard. It's Isaiah Crowell, beg your pardon. Crowell 34 comes in now. John, your very own pylon. You can take this home if you want to use this for your backyard. Got cameras just in here and here. One up at the top of the pylon, too. Very impressive. What do these things do?
You know, air goes in there, and it comes out there to keep the camera cool, Mike. There's cords in there. You just plug it in. Off you go. I'm going to take that. Give me that.
We get some great looks at those questionable plays sometimes. Or perhaps the job you do mowing the lawn back there in Tampa. This is 3rd and 9. And McCown's throw is complete. Held on to as Rob Hausler goes to the ground and makes the grab. Hausler played his first 4 years in Arizona. part of the group at tight end for the Browns this year.
Starts with pass protection, and we talked about it earlier. You got to pick up blitzes in this offense. Nice job by Crowell. It gives McCown the opportunity to step up and hit Hausler on a corner route. Big first down for this Browns offense.
Lisa told you Gary Barnage, who likely is the starting tight end for this group, but it's going to be a shared position. He's in the locker room with a concussion evaluation. You have Jim Dre, more of a blocking tight end, as McCown takes time out. Hausler, and they're excited about a rookie free agent out of Iowa State, E.J. Bibbs, who we'll see a bit later on tonight. 80 seconds into the second quarter. Was America, he knows the league. He started with Arizona, 19 starts there. Stop in Michigan, played for the Lions, popped back to the West Coast to Oakland with the Raiders for a year, then down the Dolphins, mostly in backup roles. In Carolina, actually back-to-back seasons, he got to unpack. Out of the NFL to the UFL, the Hartford Colonials. 49ers. There's more, don't worry. Bears, mentioned how well he played when Cutler was hurt. Tampa last year. Cleveland this year. Been around. Family's been all over the country. Has 4 kids. Taking their career 1 year at a time. Talks to them every year. Do we want to keep doing this? Here we go. This is a backwards pass to Andrew Hawkins, who makes a man miss, but doesn't get to the line of scrimmage. That's a run, technically, and a first down loss of a yard. Johnny brings great veteran leadership. We did see, remember that Monday night we were at Lambeau? The Bears hadn't won it forever in Green Bay. Rodgers gets hurt. McCown's quarterbacking the Bears, and they win. We've seen him when he can do good things on the field.
No doubt. If the circumstances are right, the kid can play. He is athletic. He hasn't been hit a lot, even though you showed all those teams he was on. He just needs some help around him to have a chance.
Loss of a yard there. Isaiah Crowell, the back, picking up the pressure. And McCown's throw is incomplete. Coverage over there from Stephon Gilmore, who you are very excited about, John.
Really like Gilmore. And when you watch this play, you wonder about who's blocking Jerry Hughes. He's got a back blocking him in a one-on-one situation. McCown gets hit right in the ribs, and he's got to throw the ball against the best corner Buffalo has. McCown needs better pass protection to have a chance. That was not the matchup you're looking for, a running back against Jerry Hughes.
If Joe Thomas is my left tackle, I'd like to have him over there. Normally is the guy. Blocking the pass rusher Hughes. A little twist up front by the Bills. McCown throwing it downfield. It's covered, and it's intercepted. That's 2 picks for Ronald Darby. Got return time now. Darby across the 40, and we'll go down at the 43-yard line. There's a penalty marker downfield. And that happened, I believe, while the return was going on. So the 50th pick of the draft is a couple of picks of Josh McCown here tonight.
That's a poor decision by McCown. He's late. He's throwing the ball to a 5'7" receiver, and bad things are going to happen.
And that's what they say McCown isn't going to do. He's not going to make those types of mistakes. And he was so good at that in those Chicago successful games in the absence of Cutler.
Well, he struggled last year in Tampa. I think he had 10 interceptions, and
there is no
that's
foul
a bad decision.
For holding on the play. Return is legal, and first down Buffalo.
And the Bills will have it at the 43-yard line when we come back. Not a good start for the Cleveland offense in their first dozen snaps. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline just steps away from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Great artists of all time with displays, including the Rolling Stones, who rocked Columbus back in May. Have you stopped by, as usual, on your trips to Cleveland?
Yeah, they kicked me out. I stayed till closing time last night. You see that Rolling Stones display they had? Mick Jagger, Keith Richard. We're going to be on Gruden's Grooves this year. I got my own little Gruden's Grooves on the iPhone. I'm going to get you hooked up there, Mike. Classic rock.
Taylor first down, feels the pressure out of the pocket. This is some of the magic stuff Rex Ryan talked about. You could take a play that might have been a sack for others and gain 7 with a scrambling Taylor.
Well, you showed him doing this at Virginia Tech. You drop back to pass. All your receivers are covered. You have the ability to create offense with your legs. And I like so far the way he's protected himself. He hasn't put himself in harm's way, and he's moved this Buffalo Bill offense. Like to see him complete a drive and get some points on the board.
Got a theory. I want to ask you about it. See what you think about Taylor and this offense in a minute here. Good awareness there. Get his receiver in motion. And the give up the middle for the first down and more. Bronson Hill looked halfway decent here in his runs. 10 yards for Hill and a first down to the 40-yard line. Okay, so Greg Roman's here as the offensive coordinator. I know where he was. He was with Colin Kaepernick. I know Rex likes defense and ground and pound. Roman gave you exotic runs like you showed us before. Can this be a 2015 version of Colin Kaepernick playing quarterback?
Why not? When you get LaShawn McCoy, who hasn't even been brought up tonight, in the backfield with Percy Harvin and Sammy Watkins, there's a lot of deception. Here's a read option.
And there goes Taylor.
I'll tell you.
Gain of 20 and a first down to the 20.
It's a zone read when you least expect it, and this is probably what Tyrod does the best. They're going to read the end man on the line of scrimmage, and he's going to put the ball in the back stomach. If that end closes, Tyrod keeps it. You see it in high school football. You see it in college football, and you're seeing it prevalent in pro football. I like Tyrod Taylor and the deception of this offense. And when they get their skill back, Mike, they could be very interesting.
4 runs, 41 yards. Bronson Hill there for no gain. Thrown back by that first-round pick for the Browns, Danny Shelton. That's what you were talking about, John. Colin Kaepernick and what he did. We always say, boy, that 49ers rush attack with Frank Gore was so good. A lot of it was Kaepernick.
Yeah, and he averaged over 6 yards a carry. That's what's not on there. He was not only gaining a lot of yardage, but he was doing it at over 6 yards a carry. And like I said, when LaShawn McCoy is back in the backfield and you got him going one way with Tyrod going the other, look out.
Ricky Seal is the running back. And Seal will block the point of attack by Felton, the fullback, in a gain of a couple of yards. Want to update you on those Buffalo injuries in the first quarter. Ankle injuries to both. Marquise Goodwin can return. Chris Hogan will not return in this game here tonight. And that Hogan injury, a bit of a concern for Buffalo.
This is blitz time for Mike Pettin and the Cleveland Browns. Defensive coordinator Jim O'Neill taking a more prevalent role with this Browns defense. Loves the blitz in these third and long situations in the red zone.
Goodwin's back. He's the receiver at the bottom of the screen. Deontay Thompson to the top. And that's where Taylor's going. Incomplete. Johnson Betamosi there on the coverage for Cleveland. And field goal attempt for Buffalo.
Betamosi is a special teams player. Rarely gets to play corner. Here he is in tight bump and run coverage. And it's a good call. No call. Look at that pylon camera.
There you go. Again, Betamosi playing with the players who are out tonight. Corner, including Joe Hayden and K'Wan Williams, who's normally the nickel. Carpenter missed from 46. This is a 36-yard field goal attempt. And there are the first points of the game. So Tyrod Taylor, who earlier led a 15-play, 9-minute drive with a missed field goal, Taylor leads him down the field for 3. Here's into the Buffalo quarterbacking equation. We probably won't see Matt Castle with the ball cap in the middle there tonight. The expectation is Taylor, and you see what he's done in the first half, playing for this entire first half, and then E.J. Manuel, the first-round pick from a couple of seasons ago, playing in the second half. Castle getting the action in week 1 for Buffalo as they try to sort out what they're doing on the offensive side. Jordan Gay gets his opportunity to kick it off, and this is Darius Jennings bringing it back for the Browns. And they'll be thrown down at the 20-yard line. One of the many Williams on this Buffalo team, Duke Williams, with the tackle. Well, only 12 plays for the first-team offense and 2 turnovers. So maybe a little more Josh McCown. The quarterback on the left, on the right, the guy pretty much same age, John DeFilippo, who's the new offensive coordinator. He replaces Kyle Shanahan. He was with Oakland as a quarterback's coach. Prior to that with the Jets. Did call plays at San Jose State, but this is his first NFL chance to call plays. He was very happy with the offense and a good opening drive that they had last week against Washington. But here, you see what they've done. So the first team offense still out there. Joe Thomas, Alex Mack, the center. Here's a run by Terrence West, and they're not doing much against this Buffalo defense and the first unit for Buffalo up front.
This is an important preseason. You've got a young play caller who, like you said, has not called plays. This is a great exercise, communicating with a quarterback that's new to Cleveland, getting everybody on the same page and having success. And right now it'll be interesting to see how Josh McCown responds to adversity. They need to make something happen and get some confidence on offense.
First down run gained 1. 2nd and 9. It's complete to the tight end Jim Dre. Will have the first down across the 30 to the 32. First unit's working for both teams. John had a great visit with Joe Thomas, the Pro Bowl, perennial Pro Bowl left tackle. You see the first O-lineman in the history of the league to go in his first 8 years. And Alex Mack, the center, who had barely missed a snap as well, but then fractured his fibula in Game 5 last year. They're the linchpins. They're the guys who've seen all these coordinators and all these head coaches and all these quarterbacks come through. Their 7th year together, and they're desperate to see an offense that can establish something for the Browns. West to the left, gain of a yard.
Well, it's going to be hard to establish anything running the ball with Marcel Darius playing defensive tackle. You know, Thomas is a great player. He struggled last year against these Buffalo Bills. He had 3 holding calls, but Darius is so effective inside. It's almost impossible to run the ball with consistent success. And when you have to throw it to beat Buffalo, they have the rushers to ruin your night.
Second and 9. It's right back to the ground. It's another 1-yard gain. It's 3 1-yard rush gains in a row as Cleveland's offense can't get a push.
Look at Mario Williams playing left defensive end. 14.5 sacks last year. You have Jerry Hughes on the opposite side. Look at this power rush. I mean, he's a good player. He had double-digit sacks. And then you throw in Kyle Williams, who can play nose tackle, defensive tackle. He's one of the all-time Gruden grinders. I love Kyle Williams. And Marcel Darius is going to be a rich man playing out his rookie contract. This is a formidable front four, 3rd down and long. Let's see if Rex cuts them loose.
Rex Bryan brings pressure from confusion that time, and Hartline makes the catch in front of the 2-interception man, the rookie Darby, and the Browns have back-to-back first downs.
That's one of the things that Rex Ryan does. He's going to bring some exotic pressures. You're going to see linebackers blitzing from all over the field. That time they dropped the defensive tackle. There's a sight adjustment by the veteran Hartline, and that's well done by McCown, seeing the blitz, reading the blitz, and getting to his hot receiver.
Hartline, you saw there, looking into the quarterback. He's one of the additions to this Browns offense this year. The run up the middle for Isaiah Crowell takes it to the 47-yard line. Dwayne Bowe is the other wide receiver they added. Remember, Bowe had a huge 15-touchdown catch season back in 2010, went to the Pro Bowl. He's caught 13 touchdowns in his last 4 years total, so he hasn't had that same kind of production, but he comes in out with a hamstring injury tonight. Hartline comes, and they hope that those guys will add to the returning players at the receiving corps. Of course, Josh Gordon, who they've had here the last couple of years on and off, is suspended for the entire season for his latest run-in. Isaiah Crowell with the carry, and he's taken out of bounds. The first down into Buffalo territory.
That's an impressive run by Crowell. He stiff arms Preston Brown, the leading tackler of the Buffalo Bills, at the point of attack for the first down. Watch Preston Brown, 52, come up for the tackle. That's a beautiful left-handed stiff arm by Crowell. Crowell's interesting. We had him in the Outback Bowl. He was one of the top high school recruits in the country at Georgia. He left. He had to get out of Georgia, went to another school. Here he is, and he's resumed his career, and he's a good back.
SEC Freshman of the Year at Georgia, then had to go to Alabama State to finish his career. He goes to the right and gains a couple of yards. Mario Williams got his arm hit as he was coming in for the tackle. Here you see the Crowell numbers. He had the 8 touchdowns, but only 9 receptions. West didn't do much as a pass catcher, and that's one of the places that Wilbert Montgomery is trying to say, we need somebody to grab this job, because it's available for one of you to be the bell cow.
Well, there's Wilbert Montgomery. He was a great player for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he has been on these backs hard. And you have to pick up your practice habits. You have to be able to do it all, and that's what Wilbert Montgomery is preaching day in, day out.
Terrence West is in the slot. All that pressure will get to McCown. Sack and a loss of a couple. Bills fans saw this 2 years ago when Mike Pettin was the Buffalo defensive coordinator. Guys coming from everywhere. Nightmare for the offense.
That's one of my favorite players right there. I love this guy's name, Nickel Roby.
Where's
How about having a nickel corner named Nickel? Nickel Roby just got a new contract for good reason. He is a physical presence in the slot. And that time he blitzed. He's excellent in coverage, and he's an outstanding all-around defender.
Third and 12. Roby the slot coverage there. McCown finding a spot in the pocket right close to the first down, but perhaps a half yard short for Rob Hausler. Nigel Bradham pulls him down. Where's that mark going to come there? Yep, just short. So we'll see what John DiFilippo will do here, along with Mike Pettin. And it's an interesting point here, John. Mike Pettin is not calling the defense this year. He is taking over, being a part of the offense in their game plans as part of what they do all week, so he can help make some decisions on the offensive side in game management. This is one of those where you say, you know what, we want to go here 4th and 1. And on a quick count, it's West for the first down. Terrence West to the 27-yard line, I should say.
And Rex Ryan can't be happy with that. This Buffalo Bill defense was not ready. And in a critical 4th and 1, you have to have your hand in the grass and be ready to go. Look at these Buffalo Bills. They don't get a call. And it might be Preston Smith, their young inside linebacker, who's taken over as the signal caller. Remember, they lost Brandon Spikes, Mike, in the offseason.
Kiko Alonso, the inside backers have changed here for the Bills. It is West running to the left and chased down by Aaron Williams. One thing they have is we hit the 2-minute warning. Those guys, 20 and 23. Corey Graham and Aaron Williams, corners in their past, and good corners. Now they're the starting safeties, giving Rex a lot of options. 2 minutes till halftime. Second play in the game on the Buffalo defense for defensive end Ike Inampali, second year out of Louisiana Tech. I think you know his name because he was waived by the Jets. He's the one who punched Jets quarterback Geno Smith at his locker as they had a dispute over $600 of an airline ticket that was purchased by Inampali for his camp for Smith to come to, but he didn't go and he didn't repay him. And then many people around the league surprised that Rex Ryan, who drafted Inampali and had him as part of his Jets team last year, took about 24 hours until he signed him in the division in Buffalo. Here's the 2-minute warning. It is McCown who is flushed, and he's brought down. Sacked by Marcel Darius. Cedric Reed came with some initial pressure to lead to the sack.
Well, you can't get help on all these rushers. You see Inampali rushing on your left side, but it's Darius inside who beats Mack and Bitonio, and that's just too easy. Darius, 25 years old. He's going to be suspended for the opening game. That'll be a critical loss for Buffalo, but not many big people have the rare ability to rush and defend a run and play all kind of snaps like Marcel Darius.
1 game suspension, violated the league substance abuse policy. This pass caught by Brian Hartline, who goes down at the 22-yard line, so that'll set up about a 40-yard field goal. If that's what the Browns choose to do here, with 1:05 on this turning second quarter clock. This 4th down coming up. Don't know if we want to go for it here to get one more play out of the offense or just use some time.
Yeah, if I'm Mike Pettin, I'm probably going to use all this clock and kick the field goal. They've got to find the field goal kicker here in Cleveland as well. And they need some opportunities in game situations to do that.
And John, I think in a regular situation, seeing the Browns not using a timeout, Rex Ryan would. But because he's already down 5 running backs and 4 wide receivers, there's no need to extend this game.
No, there isn't.
And we're on pace for the fastest first half in the history of the league. We've only played for 1 hour and 3 minutes. And there's 33 seconds left till halftime. In the studio for the Toyota halftime. She'll have the highlights of the Lions and the Redskins, the latest update on Robert Griffin, who had that stinger injury suffered in the first half. The insiders are in mid-season form. There's no off-season for Adam Schefter, Chris Mortensen. They'll have their latest notes from around the league. And we'll have a tribute to Frank Gifford, so much a part of the history of Monday Night Football. Passed away a week and a half ago. It's our first game since, so we'll have our reflections on Frank coming up at the half. Travis Coons with his opportunity in this kicking battle from 41. And we're all tied at 3. Coons and Carrie Spear battling for that Cleveland kicking job, or perhaps someone who's on another roster. We'll see how that plays out. So McCown leads a drive, which is encouraging after the first 2 ended in interception. And in the second half, John, we'll see 2 first-round picks of a couple of years back-to-back. Johnny Manziel will play here for the Browns as their 2s will get going. And we'll see his action year 2. And on the other side, E.J. Manuel, who, as you said, has almost become the left out of the equation quarterback. It's the 16th pick of the draft in 2013. And Manuel, who has started 14 games in his first 2 years in the league, right now is just over there on the other field with the 3s, as Matt Castle and Tyrod Taylor have done the work with the best of the Bills so far.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. These 2 young men with a lot to prove and a national stage to prove it on. I like Manziel, the work he's put in the offseason. And I know E.J. Manuel, Mike, he will compete. It'll be fun to watch in the second half.
Buffalo's got Marcus Thigpen back deep, as Coons will get his kickoff opportunity. The line drive, although deep, Thigpen will take a knee. What'd you think of Tyrod Taylor in the first half?
I like what he did, especially on 3rd down. Tyrod Taylor comes out on a bootleg, complete to Felton for a first down, a beautiful scramble. He made Robertson miss. Another first down all on his own. Then he ran a read option. Like to see him protect himself a little bit better at the end of this run, but Tyrod Taylor converted some 3rd downs. I didn't like the sack he took in the red zone early in the half,
foul,
but
unnecessary
a good
roughness,
performance.
Return team number 58. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. First down.
A very good performance, Mike, given the circumstances. On the road against a good defense with your 6-string tailback and missing 5 receivers. That's impressive.
The penalty takes Taylor back to the 10-yard line. He'll hand it off to Ricky Seal. And I think both coaches, who know each other quite well, and these teams practiced at St. John Fisher College, a beautiful campus just outside of Rochester, on Monday and Tuesday. They both know both teams are thin. They both know they're not exactly going to win anything to remember here tonight. So let's go to the half.
Might get to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before it closes again.
That's right. Hour 7, first half. You'll see Manziel and Manuel coming up in the second half. You'll see Susie Culver right now with the Toyota halftime. Sue, season week number 2 around the National Football League. And we'll bookend week 2. We'll have Cincinnati and Tampa down in Central Florida on Monday night. Mike Tirico, John Gruden, Lisa Salters down on the sideline. So we'll see Johnny Manziel. What are you going to be watching for?
I want to see him make progress in the offense, call the plays properly, get to some audibles, move the team. And most importantly, I want to see him complete some passes in the pocket. Don't be running around all the time. Set your feet, make some good, accurate passes, and move this football team up and down the field.
It'll be with the 2s and against Buffalo's 2s because of the 12-play first quarter that the Browns had. We saw the starters of both teams on through the entirety of that second. Jordan Gay, who was retained on the roster last year solely as a kickoff specialist. We'll see if Rex Ryan makes the same personnel decision along with Doug Whaley, the general manager, that Doug Marrone did last year to keep a kickoff-only man. This is Shane Wynn, 9 deep, not bringing it back, and here's Lisa Salters. Lisa.
Hey, Mike. Well, remember Mike Pettin told us that the plan was for Josh McCown to play the first quarter and Johnny Manziel to come in the second, but he just told me that he didn't feel like McCown got enough snaps in that first quarter, so he kept him in there. Manziel is going to come in now, and he said he could play the rest of the game. As for the Bills and their quarterback situation, Rex Ryan was extremely happy with the way Tyrod Taylor played. He said he actually thought about calling timeouts there at the end to see if he could manufacture something, but like you guys said, a lot of injuries. He didn't want to put the kid in a bad situation, but thought he did really well. Mike?
All right, Lisa, thank you. Manziel did well in the first preseason game as well. There he goes. He takes off. Place goes nuts. He gains about 8.
What he does is spread the formation. Receivers 3 to the top, 1 to the bottom. Almost looked like a quarterback draw, but Johnny Manziel, we know, can hurt you with his legs. Love to see him get some completions in the pocket. Let's see what happens.
Saw those stats go by from last year. The one that jumped out, and our guys researched it, 76 plays. It's such a small sample for a quarterback making a drastic change in how the game is played. Terrence West stretching it out. You got hit late on the sideline. That'll cost 15 yards. Duke Williams, the safety, came up with the hit.
Going to be offsetting penalties here. They're going to get Cleveland for a hold and Buffalo for a personal foul.
And John, in there for Cleveland, along with Johnny Manziel, last year's first-round pick is this year's first-round pick, Cameron Irvin, offensive lineman. Played left tackle last week when Joe Thomas sat out.
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Holding, offense number 62. Late hit, personal foul, defense number 27. Those fouls offset. Will replay, second down.
I like your sense of officiating. That's good.
You know, last year, Mike, when Alex Mack got hurt after 5 games, Nick McDonald played center. You see Ryan Seymour in there now, just got called for holding. Got to clean it up. The 6th and 7th offensive linemen have to be able to play multiple positions. Not a good start for Seymour.
Seymour's also going to be suspended 4 games to start the year, violating the league's PED policy, performance-enhancing drugs, run by West. Galloped out of an arm tackle, and a game for Terrence West.
That's good to see by Johnny Manziel. He's under the center. He was never really under the center at Texas A&M. That time he audibled to a strong side run. He sees the safety down on the weak side, and Johnny audibles to a strong side run. That's well done by the young quarterback.
West again to the right. Who gained 4. How steep was the EXO learning curve for Manziel coming from A&M to here?
Oh, it was incredible. You know, Johnny Manziel, never been in a huddle at Texas A&M, had no responsibilities, he told me, in pass protection. And this is a foreign country to him. The huddle, calling these plays, alerting the audibles, having a snap count, multiple different snap counts, and having to execute a lot of new plays.
Isaiah Crowell back in there, so he's rolling with the first team backs. And we'll throw it out quickly to Taylor Gabriel. And this play with some nice speed across midfield into Buffalo territory. First down.
A lot of these running plays today have built-in bubble screens. They have a running play call, and if the box is loaded, Manziel has the freedom to pick up and throw the football on the perimeter. That's a nice block. At the top of the screen, you saw number 11, Travis Benjamin, not the biggest receiver, getting it done.
48. This one's going to be a minus run. 5 as Crowell is erased quickly. Cedric Reed, second time we've called the undrafted rookie free agent out of Texas.
And in a 2nd and long situation, we should see Johnny Manziel operate from the pocket. Let's see if he can direct the pass protection and get it done from the pocket.
John DeFilippo, offensive coordinator, sent in the play and also sent in a few receivers who have shown some things. Vince Maley, the 4th-round pick out of Washington State, and Josh Lenz, 17, free agent out of Iowa State. And on the slant, it's caught by a more experienced receiver, Travis Benjamin. He's brought down quickly by Mario Butler.
That's a good play by Manziel because it's the only play. It's a free safety blitz right off the left side of your screen. He's going to be unaccounted for. And Johnny Manziel has to throw the side adjustment. Sharp slant. It's not a big gain, but it's well recognized, and it's 3rd down and 9.
Buffalo brings pressure. Unblocked is in Impali. The former Jet, Manziel, throws it incomplete. Flags down, and Benjamin in the area, the intended receiver.
There's Rex Ryan for you. All-out jailbreak blitz. Manziel didn't have the answer for that one.
Illegal use of hands, hands to the face. Offense, number 61. That foul is declined, brings up 4th down.
First thing you have to be prepared for against the Rex Ryan defense is all-out blitz. And you have to expect it at any time. That time, the young quarterback, Manziel, fooled. And here's Andy Lee, another ex-San Francisco 49er.
Yeah, this is a team that punted a lot. 93 punts, 3rd most in the league. So good to have one of the top punters, a 4-time All-Pro in his 11 years with the 49ers. Traded a 7th round pick down the line in 2017 to have Andy Lee be the punter here in Cleveland. And do that. Down to the 1, and Josh Lenz. Was Josh on the spot? Give the Bills 99 yards to deal with. This ESPN NFL preseason special brought to you by Navy Federal, serving the armed forces and their families. At ESPNFanshop.com, which is powered by Dick's Sporting Goods. Very comfortable August night here in Cleveland. Our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. As you look down at First Energy Stadium, 67,000 Browns backers will have this place rocking, as they have been so loyal through the tough times since this franchise re-entered the league in 1999. E.J. Manuel, the quarterback, working off his own goal line. This is to John Connor for a short game. So E.J. Manuel, last season, you see just a couple of starts, the first 4 games, then he was pulled for Kyle Orton. 2 seasons, 14 starts. Got thrown in as a rookie, John, was 4-6. And then last year with those early struggles, Doug Marrone was the head coach. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator, they made the move, went to the veteran Orton for the balance of the season. And now, the question is, will Manuel have a role here? And they have a job here. 3rd string for the moment. Out of his own end zone, he will take off, and E.J. is going to get close to that 1st down. I should give it to him at the 11.
Well, he's got to throw the ball better. That's the one thing that E.J. Manuel has worked hard on in the offseason. Even worked with the old quarterback Steve DeBerg on his accuracy issues, trying to improve ball placement, anticipation, touch, timing, all the things that go with being an accurate passer. And he's got his hands full learning a new offense, playing for a new coach that didn't draft him.
You can see Goodwin back in the game after the earlier injury. He's in motion at the top. And no gain on the carry for Bronson Hill.
But E.J. Manuel got off to a good start as a rookie, got hurt against these Cleveland Browns, scrambling, if you recall, a couple years ago. He's had his problems staying healthy. A lot of these running quarterbacks have to understand they won't last long in this league if they don't protect themselves.
It was week 5, a run up the sideline. And that hit that took out Manuel. On 2nd and 9, his sideline pass is caught by Goodwin. And it'll be marked out of bounds about 5 yards shy of the 1st down, with 3rd down coming up.
Good to see Goodwin back. He got hurt on that jet sweep in the first half. That time a quick out. Good timing, good location, and it sets up a 3rd down and 5. Don't be surprised if Jim O'Neill, the defensive coordinator of these Browns, comes after E.J. Manuel with a blitz, just like his old mentor Rex Ryan just did against Manziel. Here they come.
Lucky, 4-3.
Not in regular season full throat, but the dog pound making some noise. Manuel got hit, but threw on time to Goodwin, and it's a 1st down at the 25-yard line. Nice job by E.J.
Watch this, Mike. It looks like it's going to be an all-out blitz. Look at these Cleveland Browns coming after E.J. Manuel. Right before the ball is snapped, They bail out of there. It's a 4-man rush. But you see what happened to E.J. Manuel. He got hit hard. A lot of confusion that both of these great defensive coaches cause with their scheme.
Former Notre Dame running back Sierra Wood is in the game. He has not practiced with the Bills. And 3 flags come down all at once.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Sierra Wood had a good career at Notre Dame, left as a top 10 rusher for the Fighting Irish, played 5 NFL games with Houston. He's been around in Seattle and Baltimore, New England, banging around in their camps on and off. And with the decimated running backs, they signed 2 running backs this week. It's only Thursday. They've signed 2 running backs this week. Ricky Seal was one of them, rookie out of Stanford, and now Sierra Wood, who, as it said, was signed yesterday, has not practiced with the Bills. Welcome to Buffalo. Loss of a yard. Of course, Lisa Salters, LaShawn McCoy will be the main back here. I know you spoke to Rex Ryan about McCoy and getting him back.
Yeah, Mike, after talking to Rex, he told me that the results of an MRI that was done on that hamstring, after that, they are calling his injury, they're saying that they're cautiously optimistic that he will be able to return for the regular season opener on September 13th against the Colts. They've been saying all along that they didn't think it was too serious, so apparently the results of that MRI back that up.
Yeah, that injury happened Tuesday in the joint practices with the Browns and the Bills early on. Manuel gets pressured. It got picked up by Wood. The high throw by Manuel is incomplete, intended for Deontay Thompson, who wants the flag on Batamosi.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy, you said it, 60,000 season tickets have been sold, a lot of them because they made the trade to get this electrifying runner and receiver. Since he entered the league, not many backs have run for the amount of yardage that McCoy has accumulated. I don't care what offense they run. Andy Reid's system, Chip Kelly, Greg Roman, get him the ball.
We like to have him for that opener, of course, especially because it's against Indianapolis at home. They have the 2 AFC finalists, Indianapolis, then New England, to start the season. Manuel hit and then knocked down. Ball came out as he was going down as well. And there's a penalty marker in there. Nate Orchard got in there for the hit after the pressure from Armonte Bryant.
Nate Orchard, 2nd-round pick out of Utah, a sack machine for the Utes. And they need a rusher opposite Paul Kruger. Not a bad start for Nate Orchard. He was an ex-receiver at Utah. Mike gained 60 pounds, became a pass rush force. They're excited about it.
Thoughts that he was going to be, he wanted to be like Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Terrific wide receiver. There's Manuel getting hit and going down and the ball coming out there, but EJ was able to recover it, I thought, at first.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense, number 24. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
3rd and 16. He knew it, too. Batamosi knew he hooked Marquise Goodwin, and what a critical penalty on 3rd down and extra long.
Johnson Batamosi has been playing a lot here tonight in the secondary. Those core special teams performers for the Browns. So Marcus Thigpen, he had a little running back in his background and played running back for a couple of series during those scrimmages when the Bills were losing guys left and right. Probably thinking to himself, I'm glad I'm a wide receiver now. Don't take hits like that.
I really like this Armonte Bryant. He got hurt last year, Mike. He's another young, athletic, disruptive pass rusher, edge player, can play outside linebacker, defensive end. I like Bryant because he can go inside over the guard in nickel situations. Good to see him healthy, back making plays.
We also have their 3rd-round pick from this year, Xavier Cooper, 96, in there now. Manuel trying to save himself here. Cooper, Orchard, and Campbell, the 3 defensive players in their draft class. All there for the stop.
He gets his 7th string back in a game that just got here. And Mike Pettin continues to dial up blitzes, and Buffalo does not have the answer. Don't be surprised if you see another blitz on 3rd and 15. You said it. These running backs just got here. Knowing the snap count is one thing, but how to pick up some of these Mike Pettin, Jim O'Neill blitzes on national TV is another.
That last play was the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round draft picks for Cleveland that made the tackle. And we have a flag thrown from the sideline, usually a substitution infraction here. Let's see. What they'll come up with. Counting players, looking at bodies, making sure everybody's got the right number of people out there. I see 11 out there.
There is no foul on the play for more than 11 men on the offense. 3rd down.
That wasn't very good officiating.
Jerry Austin, 2-time Super Bowl referee, back with us in the booth on Monday nights, had nothing to do with that. Carl Johnson down there threw the flag. Carl was once the supervisor of officials for the league, back on the field the last couple of seasons. Manuel found time. His throw is broken up. Defensive play by Kendall James, first-year player out of Maine.
And he's looking for Desmond Lewis, who is in triple coverage. Manuel does a decent job. 2 hands on the ball, buying time, but there are Cleveland Browns all around Desmond Lewis.
Colton Schmidt comes to kick it for Buffalo. And that's Shane Wynn back to return for the Browns. Some space to return this 46-yard punt. And there goes Wynn. An exciting return in the game against Washington last week. Brings this one to the 45. So good field position for drive 2 in year 2 for number 2. 3-3, so you've invested a first-round pick in Johnny Manziel. The road was rocky on and off the field. So how do you surround him with people who can help? Well, you have Josh McCown, veteran quarterback, tremendous leader, great person, good person to follow along. Kevin O'Connell, that bottom corner, he's coming as the quarterback coach, his first time doing that in the NFL, but he goes back to Manziel's earlier days in high school, has been around him. Great support unit for Johnny. And the new offensive coordinator, John DeFilippo. This pass is complete to E.J. Bibbs, the tight end. They wanted a face mask of that size. Aiden Powley and Stewart made the tackle. So DeFilippo's calling the plays. O'Connell, who not only was with Manziel earlier in his football career, but also is the guy who Manziel worked with in that time after the college season ended before the draft. All a comfort zone to try to surround Manziel with the best of the best for him to get him to be the best he can be.
I love it. Commit yourself to a system and bring in coaches that believe in the quarterback and coach them hard. And Johnny Manziel did some good things in the first series, technically. He sees the free safety down on the right side, and he audibles to a strong side run. Good recognition. That's what you want to see as a coach. He sees a loaded box. He picks the ball up. He throws it to his hot receiver. Then he keys the free safety blitz. Sight adjustment at the bottom of the screen. Those aren't big games, but they're good plays.
Timothy Flanders, the first year back out of Sam Houston State, had the last carry. He's in blocking, but Manziel's got a lot of people coming his way, and he's brought down. Manziel sacked by Merrill Knoll, the rookie free agent from Wake Forest.
3rd down and long. It's the second time they come with a exotic blitz. There's not one Buffalo Bill in a stance. They're all standing on 2 feet. Nobody accounts for the edge rusher, and down goes Johnny Manziel. Rex Ryan and Dennis Thurman, who's calling a lot of these blitzes, have been doing it to a lot of quarterbacks for a long time.
Andy Lee punting again. Big Penn back. Kick is 51. Here's Big Pen from his own 14. Had some space and got the return 16 yards out to the 30. So a net of 35 yards. Johnny Manziel did some good things in that first drive that time. Little he could do as the Bills brought the pressure and brought the heat. The second week of the NFL preseason. And we'll wrap it up Monday night in Tampa and see this year's #1 overall pick in the draft. Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting A.J. Green, Andy Dalton, the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll see him Monday night, 8 Eastern, Tampa. E.J. Manuel back to work. He gives it to Ricky Seal. There's no gain there. So these three running backs all have neat stories, and they otherwise probably would not have been seen on national TV. Ricky Seal's dad, Sam, played defensive back in the NFL. He's a scout for Green Bay. As a matter of fact, when Ricky, who did very little at Stanford, he only carried it 53 times to the Cardinal, gained 171 yards in his career at the farm. His dad was at his pro day. He was really as a scout for Green Bay. He was there kind of rooting along his son and watching other players, but it was a neat opportunity, including this one as well. Goodwin back in with the catch. Gain of about 5. It'll be 3rd and 4 coming up.
You know, Cleveland, Mike, had 12 draft choices this year themselves. That was more than any other team in the league. And this is a great opportunity to take a look at some of these young players. Hayes, Pollard, linebacker number 52 in the ball game.
We've already seen Nate Orchard flash a bit. 51st overall pick of the draft. He's 48, one of those Browns with no hand in the ground there. And now they get set. They're all coming. Not enough to block. And E.J. Manuel is brought down. Xavier Cooper, the 3rd-round pick out of Washington State with the sack.
I knew E.J. was in trouble. He grabbed his running back, Bronson Hill, and he tried to help him, tell him who to block. There's a lot of confusion on this play. It's an all-out blitz, and there's Xavier Cooper, one of those rookies I was talking about. He's a 3rd-round draft choice, and he can rush the passer. He's a little bit different than most of these defensive linemen the Browns have. That young man got a sack last week against Washington. He got one against the Buffalo Bills.
Schmidt kicking again. This was a great kick. Wow. Sending Wynn all the way back to his own 11-yard line. And a flag down as Wynn's taken down by Tony Stewart in special teams. I'm afraid someone might not score the rest of the way here.
This doesn't look like it.
It's 3-3. 3 seconds left in the 3rd.
Well, both these defensive coordinators are revving up multiple all-out nasty blitzes, and these young quarterbacks are playing with some young players, and that's not a good combination.
Neither team has 150 yards of offense yet.
During the return, holding, return team number 49. Penalties half the distance to the goal line. First down, Cleveland.
It is graduate level defense and freshman orientation offense trying to pick it up right now, and it ain't pretty. Seeing what Rex Ryan does defensively, and show us a little bit, John, of why this is so confusing for offenses.
Well, he's inheriting a great defensive front four. These 4 men can line up in a static, normal look and wreak havoc. And then Rex Ryan comes in. He's going to blend that with some exotic looks. David Harris, a middle backer, an outside backer, 2 defensive backs on the right, 2 linebackers in the A gap. They bring a free safety with the twist. They break down your protection, your communication, and they have the horses up front to do it straight. It's a bad combination for opposing offenses.
There's movement by the rookie Cameron Irving. It's the 1st-round pick for the Browns. He played left tackle at Florida State, then moved over to center for the Seminoles. They're looking at him at right guard here. Question, did he move, or was the Bill player in the neutral zone first?
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 58. The 5-yard penalty remains first down.
Randall Johnson.
Hard count in a backed up situation. I'm surprised that didn't go against Cleveland.
Johnson was 7th-round pick for the Bills last year. Florida Atlantic. Played mostly special teams when he did play. At the time, Irving pulled the 1st-round pick, but Jalen Parmalee, the one who runs it to the other side, he gets a 1st down. And after 3 quarters, it's 3-3 here in Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns trying to find a way for his group to get it right. It has not been a series of good stories with the Browns. Kyle Shanahan stepping away, resigning his job. Manziel going into rehab. Josh Gordon suspended. Then Ray Farmer, the GM, suspended for 4 games, admitting that he was texting the sidelines. You can't do that. Breaks NFL rules. A lot of people in the mix here. And can the issues last year be put behind these guys and come together as a cohesive unit? Whether it's Manziel or McCown steps his play up at quarterback, which is the likely starter. Certainly want your 1st-round quarterback to develop. This is E.J. Bibbs, nice move. And the tight end Bibbs with another flag down. Gets to the 30. John, there are so many things that go on in the NFL. The one thing you need is, it needs to be like one of those 8-man boats that you have for a regatta.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 85. It's a 10-yard penalty from this foul. Replay 1st down.
Think of those crew teams. Everybody's got to be rowing the boat at the same time, the same pace, the same cadence. There's a lot of things going in different directions. Cleveland from the top down has to be on the same page to try and turn around what's been a really terrible return since this franchise was restarted back in 1999.
And I think it all starts with head coach Mike Pettin, making sure everybody's on the same page on the coaching staff. Kyle Shanahan did not want to be a part of this. They let him go. They brought in another offensive coordinator. They've got some young players, Mike, that have to get it together. And it's not just Johnny Manziel. It's Justin Gilbert. We already talked about Josh Gordon. But some of these young players have to commit themselves to being professional football players. And you have to have the coaching staff that can drive them. And it's a combination of those two things that Cleveland hasn't had any continuity at quarterback or really at the coaching position. And hopefully they found that with Mike Pettin and his coaching staff.
Manziel getting his feet tied up. Since the Browns re-entered the league, of course, the Browns franchise moved to Baltimore as part of the Ravens, and then the league came back. We were here for the expansion draft before that 99 season, and that excitement is still there. This is an extraordinary group of fans here. Manziel passing here, complete. And the 1st down will be picked up. Nice catch and run that time by Garner, the tight end, to take it to the 28-yard line. We've seen these games. We watch all the games together on Sunday. There's great loyalty. There's hope that Manziel or some of these young players could just pick it up and start to put together a successful record.
You got to remember, young players need time, but you fight time all the time. Coaches haven't been given an opportunity here. 6 different offensive coordinators in 6 years. I can't tell you how many different head coaches. They need to commit themselves to this system, and it might just work.
One complete to the left side to Vince Mailey, the 4th-round pick out of Washington State. He led the Pac-12 last year. A couple of statistical categories. There was progress last year, John. I mean, it was a 7-win season, but don't forget where this Browns team was. They lost their last 5 games. When they beat Cincinnati on that Thursday night, 24-3, they were 6-3, and they were leading the division. So we know there are people here who can get the job done, and the fan base was so excited. Can they all get on the same page and do it this year? Manziel in the pocket collapsing around him, incomplete for Jalen Parmalee.
And look, this is as tough as it gets. This is one blitz after another. Manziel clearly is not as advanced as Josh McCown. This will be a great learning tool for him, this film. Learning what he should have done, what he could have done, what he will do the next time. But it's going to take time. Manziel should still be a senior at Texas A&M. This is foreign territory, and it's a brand new offense.
And the Heisman is a freshman. This would be his 5th-year senior season in College Station. Throwing on the run, and it's caught at the sideline. And Darius Jennings stuck that ball out past the marker. 1st down, Cleveland.
It's a nice throw by Manziel. It's a sprint out to his right. They're trying to throw the quick timing out. And he's under fire, and he throws an awkward delivery And that's good concentration on the sideline for the first down.
How's his arm strength?
I think it's adequate. I think it's going to be a challenge playing in Cleveland when the weather gets bad and the wind starts blowing on this lake. This is a tough place for any quarterback to throw the football.
At the 38 stretch down, Jalen Parmalee spurts through the hole to the 42-yard line. We talked about in Monday Night Countdown how Manziel, as part of trying to rework things after getting his life in order through the visit to rehab, has had Josh McCown around. But in the time period before camp got going, he came down to visit you and spent some time going over some football. Just curious, as you sat with Johnny Manziel, did you see somebody who's hungry to get the football part of this down?
No question, Mike. And look, he lost his confidence a little bit. It's the first time that Johnny Manziel hit rock bottom.
Here he is on the boot in Impali. Chasing. Manziel throwing on the run. And it's caught by Jennings. One of the biggest gains of the night to the 21-yard line. Pick up a 37.
Every young quarterback needs success. And he needs to regain his confidence. And if he regains his confidence, he can make plays like this, running to his left. Well done.
Jumping on the ball to snap it quickly. And in Impali, there makes the tackle, loss of a yard for Timothy Flanders.
But you know, Johnny Football has never played quarterback like this. He's standing away from the huddle. He's got to communicate to personnel that they want in the game. He's got to listen to the formation, deliver it, and get up to the line of scrimmage and recognize these Rex Ryan blitzes and be prepared for an audible, a hot receiver. This is a total change for how he's played, and he's under center, which is something I've seen him do more tonight than I've ever seen him do.
Got Eric Olson in there at center for him. Manziel climbs the pocket, throwing end zone, touchdown! Shane Wynn with the game's first score.
It's a 95-yard drive. I know it's the backup players, but that's what I wanted to see Manziel do, Mike. Make plays in the pocket. That time out of an I formation. It's a play-action pass. He steps up and throws a strike to give Cleveland the lead in the fourth quarter. Watch him push up in the pocket, keep his eyes downfield. I hope this guy finds his stuff. Because, man, is he fun to be around. He can hit the golf ball, too, by the way, Mike. I'm going to bring him in as my ringer partner.
As you've been watching preseason, you know, extra points moves back for kick attempts. Snapped from the 15, thus the equivalent of a 33-yard field goal. 2 were missed the first week of preseason. That one knocked in by Gary Spear. Johnny Manziel lights them up. From the 50-yard line camera, from the pylon camera. It's Johnny Football finding the end zone again. 10-3 Browns. Well, Manziel did a lot of little things on that 11-play, 96-yard drive. Good first down gained on a short pass, and this one the touchdown, 21 yards to win.
Yeah, I formation play pass, but I just like the way he pushed up in the pocket. He didn't take off and run. He kept his eyes downfield and made a nice throw to Shane Wynn to give Cleveland a 10-3 lead. And it's a 95-yard drive. It's a confidence builder.
Wynn, terrific competitor, as are so many of the players who played high school football at Glenville. For Ted Ginn Sr., one of the great programs in this terrific football state. 10-3 Browns on top. And no surprise, one of the first guys to give Johnny credit, Josh McCown. Season is here, fun, free, and easy to play. Sign up NFL.com/fantasy. John Gruden's Paradise. The Metallica exhibit at the adjacent Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I saw Metallica when I was coaching the Raiders. Memorable.
First and 10 from the 20. It's the toss to Marcus Thigpen. Just a couple of yards there. Bills defense, first teamers look really good, including Mario Williams, former #1 overall pick down there with Lisa.
Thank you, Mike. Mario, the Bills haven't gone to the playoffs in 15 years, and you've never played in a playoff game. So tell me what the vibe is like around this team coming off a 9-7 season as you try to take it to the next level.
We're definitely hungry, and we want to get better and get to.
And I told him he better not spill any water on me.
And get there. I think the biggest thing for us is going out and understanding the defense and going and executing on the field. That's definitely what we need to do, and that's what we're. This is a bad spot.
It's a bad spot. Maybe we should move.
That's definitely what we're trying to do, and I think the more repetitions and things like that we get, we'll be better with it.
What's been the biggest challenge adjusting to a Rex Ryan defense?
I think the biggest thing that is challenging for us is that he'll call anything and he'll change anything. So you got a play that we've been doing a certain way, and then next thing you know is totally different. Like he wants to do this and do that. But that's good because it gives us versatility on the field.
Any similarities to the way Mike Pettin did things when he was running the defense a couple of years ago?
Yeah, it's very similar, and I think that's the reason why Coach Ryan is so, last minute he'll change something because he doesn't want it to be the same way and for people to be able to pick up on certain things that we're doing. So, but it's good for us though, and it keeps us on our toes.
We've got a very playful group here. Get back to the game. Thanks for your time. Have a great season. Thank you. Mike.
All right, Lisa, thank you. That 3rd and 9 pass for Desmond Lewis was incomplete. And it'll be 4th down, so E.J. Manuel's not getting a lot of support at all. You can see these Bills like that great esprit de corps, that feeling of enthusiasm and positive energy that a Rex Ryan team can have. These Bills have, being around them for a little bit the last couple of days.
And when you got 4 players like that, it's easy to have a good feel about yourself. Jerry Hughes and the 3 tops, I call these front 4. Jerry Hughes makes $45 million, and those 3 tops are all Pro Bowl players. They set the tone around here in Buffalo.
Colton Schmidt will kick again for the Bills. 51 on that kick, and another shot for Shane Wynn to make another highlight. Wynn! Good cut inside to the 15, pulled down at the 14-yard line.
These Cleveland Browns have 4 wide receivers that are no taller than us, Mike. Gabriel, Benjamin, Hawkins. And now it's Shane Wynn out of Indiana. He catches this punt, shows good elusiveness. He bursts to the outside and almost scores. Well done.
Running back 7 yards longer than the kick. There is a penalty marker down on the far side, well away from where anything happened with the play. And we'll see if that was something that happened off the release of the players as they were going down to cover.
During the kick, personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Return team, number 35. That penalty being enforced 15 yards from the spot of the catch. First down, Cleveland.
The spot of the catch, so it's a nice highlight. It's a good moment, and it didn't happen. So they'll come all the way back. You mentioned Wynn, John. Sometimes you get guys who are small players who might get their height boosted in the official numbers. They'll say the guy is 5'7" or 5'8". Wynn is listed at 5'6". The fans who saw him in the Big Ten, great attitude, great perseverance, almost 190 catches during his time at Indiana.
Taylor Gabriel came in here last year, Mike, as an undrafted free agent out of Abilene Christian.
Yep.
Made the team. Perhaps Wynn has made a case to make the Cleveland Browns.
Halftime as the Browns and Bills join the NFL, celebrating USA Football Month, youth football participation every level. Over 1 million middle and high school athletes nationwide have registered for Heads Up Football. Got 250,000 young boys and girls playing NFL flag football. You can visit playfootball.com to learn more. As Manziel and the Browns have to take over from their own 15 after the flag. John, this is always an exciting week or so as around the country, depending on your school district and state rules, high school players have reported to camp or they're getting their season started here this next weekend or two. So it's those who live the dream of hoping to one day play at this level. We wish all you guys, your teams and your coaches and your parents, the best as your high school football seasons get going.
No doubt. Have fun playing.
17-yard line. Flanders to run. 2-yard stop there. That's the one thing, John, you think about Ohio and the college champs, our friend Urban Meyer down in Columbus at Ohio State. We talked about Glenville, where Wynn, who scored the touchdown, is from, and the great high school programs in this area. So thirsty for a pro champion. You know, you got Cincinnati. We'll see the Bengals on Monday night, and the Browns. Of the teams that have been around since the start of the Super Bowl era, the Browns and the Lions are the two that haven't been to the ultimate game.
Got to have a quarterback, and on 3rd down and long, here comes another blitz.
Impali coming around the edge. Manziel threw a duck out there. It's incomplete. It was intended for Vince Mailey, who was well covered. That'll be 3 and out with 7.5 left in regulation.
That's where you'd like to see Cleveland put Buffalo away. A critical 3rd and 9 late in the ball game. Mailey, who led the Pac-10 in receiving last year, isolated in one-on-one coverage, and Manziel doesn't get that done. And here's Thigpen. I saw Thigpen take one back against Green Bay last year. He's dangerous.
One thing the Bills are not short of is good return men. Leotis McKelvin, who's out. They hope to have him back as they get through the season. Robert Woods. Great kick by Andy Lee. Sends Thigpen back to his own 25, but he's got room. And there he goes. Shockingly, the flag is down. As Thigpen brings it back right around the line of scrimmage for the kick. But we will check the flag.
Surprised Andy Lee gave him a chance.
During the kick, holding, return team number 82. The 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
59-yard punt. Return would have been close to that. However, the flag will bring it back for E.J. Manuel and the Bills. Lisa Salters, our producer Jay Rothman, director Chip Dean. Good to have our Monday night crew back together with you as we have a couple of preseason games and work towards our start of the 2015 season. That's Aaron Kromer, the offensive line coach for the Bills. He's suspended for the first 6 games of the regular season. Involved allegedly punching a teen boy in Florida. A dispute in July. Charges were dropped July 31st. So the legal process taken care of with that. However, suspended for 6 games for the Bills. This pass complete to Chris Gregg, the 7th round pick a couple of years ago out of Arkansas. A nice throw from E.J. Manuel. So it'll be Kurt Anderson, the assistant offensive line coach, who for the first 6 weeks will be getting the linemen ready. It's very important, obviously, with a new quarterback, whichever one of the 3 it will be, and a new system with Greg Roman trying to pull that together. And then you have Richie Incognito, of course, the player who didn't play all of last year after everything that happened in Miami with the bullying scandal. Was suspended for 8 games at the end of 2013. Not picked up after the league said you could sign him at the start of 2014. Brought in by the Bills. Good move in the open field by Sierra Wood. And he has the first down to 45. John, you add that to what we brought up earlier with Impali, the player involved in the Geno Smith deal with the Jets, punching the quarterback in the locker room. And people have questioned, Rex Ryan, he's given a lot of people here second chances. That's part of Rex's nature. He wants to give people a chance and an opportunity, but it certainly puts a big microscope on your team going forward when you have all those issues in your locker room.
It certainly does, but I compliment Rex Ryan for having the confidence in himself and in his program to give people a second chance.
Manuel throws. It's complete again. Another hookup for Gregg, but a flag is down the opposite side of the field. One thing Rex has never done, he's never been very concerned with what other people thought. If he felt it in his heart and believes in it in his mind and believes that Incognito is in a place where he'll help this team and can grow as a person, and Aaron Kromer is going to make this group better down the line, he's going to say, bring it on.
Prior
we'll
to
do
the
it.
pass, holding defense number 35. That penalty's declined. Yardage is enough for a first down.
Well, it's called compassion, and I work for a guy in Oakland, Al Davis, who went to the Hall of Fame by really believing everybody deserves a second chance. And sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is reach down, help them up, and dust them off and put them back in there. And I like what Rex Ryan's all about.
Sierra Wood has had a couple of nice runs here in the fourth quarter, a gain of 6. I will tell you this. There is incredible energy in Buffalo about this franchise. I was there Monday night at dinner with some friends, and watch the local news. And every other commercial is a Rex Ryan commercial. He's got a big old truck that he's been driving around. He's done commercials for that. When Rex came, it was the right fit. It was the people in Buffalo need hope. And they need somebody who say, I want to take this on. I want to beat the Jets. I want to beat the Patriots. We can do it. And Rex Ryan's been a great mix with the Western New York fan base. 2-yard run there. Edward Brown the tackle. Pizzas welcoming Rex. There's that big truck that he's driving around in and hawking on TV. He jumped out of airplanes. He ate a dog biscuit to support a cause. He's done a little bit of everything. I will tell you this. We covered him a lot with the Jets, John. He was worn down by that situation with John Idzik in the front office and all that stuff that was going on the last couple of years. He's re-energized. His positive energy is back, his enthusiasm. Doug Whaley, the president, Russ Brandon, a couple of great people leading this organization. Good throw in the middle by Manuel, and it's complete for the first down. 3 on this drive to Chris Gregg.
Good work by E.J. Manuel. But, you know, Mike, when you become a new head coach, like Rex Ryan is in Buffalo, you make staff changes, you make personnel changes, you make scheme changes, you come in with all this attitude change. You got to have the results change. And people want to see this 9-7 Buffalo Bill team with all these pass rushers get to the playoffs. And it's going to come down to the quarterback position. And let's see if E.J. Manuel can get himself back in good graces by finishing this drive.
Here's his end zone shot. It's in and out of the hands of Tobias Palmer, first-year man out of North Carolina State.
Got to hit that. That's a red zone post pattern. Wide departure, number 17. Palmer breaks it sharply to the post. Ball's thrown behind him. Tight windows in the red zone. And, Mike, over the last 2 years, the Buffalo Bills at the bottom of the league in touchdown percentage. And a lot of it has to do with their inability to throw the football in tight windows.
First incompletion for E.J. on the drive. There's another shot. This one's on time. Dangerous spot, too. And Palmer shows some fortitude to go in there and make the play shy of the goal line.
That's a nice throw there by E.J. You said it. Tight windows, especially in the middle of the field in the red zone. You have to have the confidence and the demeanor to let it go.
If the Bills score, I'm fairly confident Rex will go for 2.
Hey, come on down.
So am I.
Ricky Seal is the back. Ricky Seal is stopped. Fletcher, the safety, came up to finish it off, and the former Eagle linebacker, Moise Foku, who now says it's Moise on his first name pronunciation, makes the stop.
Goal line situation. Offensive coordinator Greg Roman using a heavy personnel grouping. I'd be surprised if they don't run the same play.
Movement, I believe it was 48. Tight end Gray who moved.
Ball start. Offense, number 48. 5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Marquise Gray. I got my Marquise and my Marquise mixed up earlier with Marquise Gray, Marquise Goodwin. My apologies.
This can't happen on the 1-yard line, no matter who's playing and what the situation. Sets up a 2nd and goal from the 6. Greg Roman has countered with a lot of receivers. They're going to open up the formation. Got to watch E.J. Manuel as a runner in these spread formations.
2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. And they'll run out of the spread. Bronson Hill gets to the 2-yard line. Ibrahim Campbell, the rookie out of Northwestern.
Going to have 2 plays from just outside the 2-yard line. Use all the clock. Take it down to the 2-minute and talk about it with your young quarterback. You've got 2 plays to make this a 10-9 game, and you got to think about what your 2-point play potentially will be.
So Matt Sims, the 4th quarterback in the Bills camp, walking out. as the quarterbacks will discuss with the offensive coordinator the plan. You know, Robert Griffin III injured in the preseason game against Detroit. The latest update, Tiger Woods off to a good start. He's trying to qualify for the PGA Tour playoffs. And Jake Arrieta, the Cubs pitcher, looking for his 15th win. Cubs finally the Tigers lead Wrigley Field. That offensive onslaught last two. See if the Cubs get back to their winning ways. If it happened in sports today, you'll see it on SportsCenter coming up as soon as we're done. 2 plays from down here. 3rd and goal. Manuel. E.J. Rowett in trouble. Lost the football. It is picked up and advanced by Coons. However, we're inside of 2 minutes. So you can't advance a fumble there unless you were the player who fumbled it. So it'll come back to the spot of the fumble, which is the 9.
Well, they run a sprint out into the short side of the field, and E.J. Manuel must throw this football away. He's outside the tackle box. You cannot cut it back into the teeth of the defense. Not a good decision by Manuel.
Greg did still pick it up in pylon cam. Knocked down a yard or 2 away. But as we said, it has to come back to that spot. Minute 40 to go. It'll be 4th and goal, and the Bills will have one more chance. No timeout called here by Buffalo. Just sorting here. Let's see. Cleveland took a timeout. All right, so the Browns have set up their defense here for 4th down. 4th and goal. Bills at the 9 after that fumble that they could not advance. And always cool for these guys. The outcome in the long term is incredibly insignificant. Nobody ever remembers who won or lost preseason games. And for these players on the field, many of them will not be in the NFL. Their chance to, on national TV, be a part of a game-winning or losing play, case may be. And it will be a play that happens in the 14th.
False start. Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Had the ball at the 1-yard line. Penalty on Gray. Sack by Manuel. And now Cooper with a false start. And it's 4th and goal from the 14-yard line. Davis at the top of the screen has been a good addition to this Bills receiving corps throughout training camp.
Andre Davis, 82. E.J. Manuel looks that way. And Davis couldn't bring it in, but he was interfered with. We also have a flag back by the quarterback as well. Joe Rankin in coverage.
There are fouls against both teams on the play. Holding, 68 offense. Pass interference, defense. Number 35. Those fouls offset. We'll replay. 4th down.
Cyril Richardson, former All-American offensive lineman at Baylor, was caught on the hold for Buffalo.
You know, Mike, I still don't understand pass interference. I did not think Rankin should have been flagged there, but Buffalo again gets another opportunity, and Andre Davis, number 82, in the slot, and Desmond Lewis, number 13, their 7th round draft choice.
Bronson Hill, the running back there, hasn't been here very long. He may have to pick up some pressure from Cleveland. Manuel's trying to adjust the play accordingly.
It's an all-out blitz.
Here they come. Got picked up. Manuel's got time. That's caught for the touchdown to Andre Davis. And the Bills will go for 2 in the lead, I would assume.
4th and goal at the 14-yard line. And Cleveland comes with an all-out blitz. And Manuel knew Andre Davis, who really shredded Cleveland on the practice field this week, Mike.
John.
He got after Justin Gilbert all week in the practice field, and Manuel says maybe he'll do it on Thursday Night Football. They have a chance to win this football game.
Davis had a really good day Monday when Gilbert, the 8th overall pick for the Browns back in 2014, struggled mightily, and then Tuesday Gilbert had a hip flexor injury. That's why the disappointing corner is not playing. So Buffalo will go for 2 and the lead with 1:31 to go. Manuel's got the 2 and crossing. It is Bronson Hill. Good for you, E.J. Manuel. Guy was a starting quarterback the last 2 years at times, John. Told, you know what, you're the number 3. Go on the other field with the 3s. See what it meant to him to lead that drive.
One thing I love about E.J. Manuel, he will not quit. Great job of competing late.
6 of Monday Night Football. Our 10th on ESPN begins with the Week 1 doubleheader. In the NFC, it'll be the Eagles and the Falcons. We'll see Chip Kelly's team go down to play Matt Ryan and their new head coach, Dan Quinn. And then the Vikings and the 49ers. The return of Adrian Peterson, the new look for the 49ers from Santa Clara, the site of Super Bowl 50, as we open up the Monday Night Football season, September 14th. 11-10 Buffalo. Jordan Gay to kick it. Darius Jennings to bring it back. And he will bring it out to the 18-yard line. So Johnny Manziel will try to lead a drive downfield to give the Browns a chance to kick a field goal and win the game.
He's got all his timeouts left, Mike. This is a situation that you just can't get these on the practice field. Johnny Manziel in a 2-minute drill with 3 timeouts. You need a field goal to win. He's got 4 downs.
We showed you earlier that Cleveland took that timeout with 1:40 to go. It was in fact Buffalo, so Johnny has all 3. His throw is incomplete, trying to squeeze it in there to Josh Lenz, but a flag comes down. Ron Brooks.
They got Ron Brooks, ex-LSU
Pass
Tiger.
interference. Defense, number 33. The ball we placed in the spot of the foul. First down, Cleveland.
Let's take a look at it.
Yep. Pulling the jersey. He's pulling his jersey.
I'll give you that one, Mike.
It's his the ninth accepted penalty on the Bills. Manziel sees 6 coming at him. That pass incomplete. Had to get it out quick and intended for Vince Malin.
You have to know who you're dealing with on the other sideline if you're Johnny Manziel. This is crunch time, and Rex Ryan is famous for all-out pressure when the chips are on the table. And you got to have the protection. You have to have the sight adjustment. You have to have the answers for the blitz because Rex Ryan's bringing it at crunch time. Here they come. There's a hand signal.
Here comes everybody. Picked up long enough. Manziel shot downfield and incomplete. Jennings and Lenz over in that direction. 73 seconds to go.
Well, number 46, Merrill Knoll, I thought got away with grabbing Jennings. We do have 8 officials working the game here tonight, John. The league experimenting with several of the games this year with this week in preseason with 8 officials. Here they come.
Get better coverage out there. Manziel threw it to Lenz. It's complete. Shy of the first down. We'll see if Cleveland takes a timeout before 4th down.
Surprised they wouldn't in this situation to help Manziel get the play that he wants. And with a moving clock, Buffalo's going to blitz the house again.
You have 3 timeouts. If you're practicing game and clock management, Rex Ryan is going to be the one to take timeout for his Buffalo team here with 50 seconds remaining. I talked about the Bills and all the things that are going on with them. Their ownership has really put this thing in a great direction. Terry and Kim Pegula, the new owners of the Bills, after Ralph Wilson passed away, many questioned what would be the future of this organization, this franchise, and they have a great thing going. The Pegulas own the Buffalo Sabres as well. There's some great stuff going on downtown Buffalo. Canal Side Project. There's a revitalization of the city. And the Pagulas have given Rex Ryan and this Buffalo organization, Russ Brandon in the front office and Doug Whaley, the resources to go out and get a LaShawn McCoy, Charles Clay in free agency, try to keep some of these big name guys. So everything's in place. And what I thought was cool, there was a meeting about who's going to move to LA a couple of weeks ago with the owners. We always thought Buffalo was going to be one of the teams in that conversation. And now they're stable in Buffalo, Western New York, because of that new ownership that has stepped in. Impali comes offside there on 4th and 4. And by the offensive lineman moving, it doesn't give Impali the chance to jump back. It'll be a first down.
It's like Impali punched Rex Ryan in the jaw.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. Number 75.
You kidding me? 4th
5-yard
down
penalty
and 4.
is enough for a first down.
4th and 4 with 50 seconds left, and you jump off sides. I bet Rex can't believe it.
It's a guy trying to earn a job and win a job here. And same thing just happened on the other side.
You know, this rule, Jerry, where everybody points at each other and the refs figure it out, something's got to be addressed here. I know the offensive lineman gets protection when the man jumps in a neutral zone, but this is ridiculous.
Among the things I missed in the last 8 or 9 months is your one-way conversation every time a flag is thrown with Jerry, who hasn't been on the field for a few years, but you're still complaining to him about calls.
Offense, number 61. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
See Cameron Irving, number 74, their rookie first rounder. Manziel at quarterback. This is good stuff. Late.
Good opportunities for them to be in these situations, show what they can do. Manziel, well covered his lens, and it's incomplete, and that coverage coming from Ron Brooks.
Well, Ron Brooks plays a lot of football for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, he's a good nickel corner. He's got speed, and Lenz is no match for Brooks. They need to try another matchup somewhere else.
What you're seeing here, some of these twos are playing for Buffalo now. Some mistakes here at the end, but it's a very talented defense the Bills have.
Yes, it is.
With Rex Ryan coming in, that's why a lot of folks are excited about their hopes. There's the pressure as Manziel to throw on the run, incomplete. Brooks breaking it up. The pressure came from A.J. Tarpley, the undrafted rookie free agent out of Stanford, whose playing time is going up now after Ty Powell, who was the number 3 inside linebacker for this team, tore his ACL on Monday and is out for the year.
And this one blitz after another. Vince Mailey, number 85, 4th round draft choice out of Washington State, getting one-on-one coverage. Somebody's got to win. I'll bet Rex blitzes again.
Third down. Manziel made a man miss, and there goes Johnny. Throws across the field, and it's held on to by E.J. Bibbs. Flag down back at the line of scrimmage for an ineligible receiver downfield. So no 17-yard gain, keeping the drive alive.
Cleveland's going to need to have a scramble drill with some of these receivers. They've got to work back to the quarterback and create some plays when Manziel creates.
Ineligible man downfield. Offense, number 74. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. A replay, third down.
There's Cameron Irving.
Still have time here to get a completion, take a timeout, give yourself a convertible fourth down situation. Third down and 20.
This time the Bills only rush 4. They drop back in coverage. Manziel runs to buy some time. And now he's got to take off. He's got to get to midfield. He's going to be 5 yards shy, but keeps it alive here with 16 seconds remaining. And Cleveland takes a timeout, make it 15.
Love to see Johnny get out of bounds and save that timeout, but it does give them a convertible 4th down situation. But these receivers have to work back to the quarterback. They need a scramble drill. Johnny Manziel keeps this play alive for almost 9 seconds. And the receivers on the left side of your screen got to work better.
That'll be great film for the receivers coach to show them tomorrow,
yes.
right?
And there'll be some changes at wide receiver soon because of that picture right there. 4th and 5. Mailey at the bottom of the screen. 4th round draft choice.
Manziel sends him a hand signal. The Bills do rush 4 again. Manziel trying to buy time, throws it, and it's incomplete. Intended for Mailey, as he was involved in some hand fighting with the defensive back Mario Butler, and Buffalo will win this game by 1.
That's disappointing by Mailey and these young Cleveland Brown receivers. Had some chances there in the scramble drill to make a play and give your field goal kicker an opportunity, but Rex Ryan, at the end of games, you have to beware of pressure. He brought it again, and Buffalo is going to be victorious.
Manziel led a decent drive earlier, was one of his last 7. What'd you think overall of Johnny in the second half?
I thought he was solid. I thought there's a couple plays. He's got to recognize the blitz quicker and change the protection, change the play. But I saw progress tonight, and I like what E.J. Manuel did.
Yes.
Showing some mental toughness and guiding Buffalo to a win.
These teams 2 practices against each other this week, and Mike Pettin and Rex Ryan used to work together for a long time. Wrap this one up. Bills lost their opener in the preseason by 1. They win this one by 1. Go to Pittsburgh next week. The Browns have lost their first 2 games here at home. They finished their preseason on the road in Tampa, then in Chicago. John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Mike Tirico, our Monday night team. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you Monday in Tampa. Stay tuned. Here comes SportsCenter next on ESPN.